speaking of doing this, we are ready for our next run of World of Goo, the any percent skips category being done by Satan herself. So Satan, let's go!
Thank you, Bonnie. Yes, let's go. So, hello, my name is Satan, or Satan herself, or Satan isn't herself on Twitch, and I'm here to show y'all World of Goo. This is a delightful little indie game that was created in 2008 by Judy Boy, who are kind of lore relevant. I don't know, I have my own pet theories about this game. It's a very interesting game, it's got a lot of lore, it's tons of fun. It is a physics puzzle game, and you'll see what I mean once we start up. But first, we gotta make a nice little new file. So we're gonna do PAT for Prevent-A-Thon. Woohoo. Second of all, yeah, let's talk about those incentives real quick, because I'm sure you want to hear it from the runner as well, kind of how these things are gonna go. So first, exactly what Bonnie said, there's $30 until we meet that Epilogue incentive. The Epilogue is actually this 5th world right here. You can see that. In the any percent skips category, we get to skip some levels. So normally we skip all the levels in the Epilogue because they're long and difficult. But they're also really, really, really cool. So the incentive is to add them back. So if you want to see 10 more minutes of Goo levels with some of the best cheese strats of the game, that's what we're going to have to do. And you're going to have to meet it before we click into that world here. And then the extra incentive is for a bonus showcase where I'm going to show off one of the most infamous Easter eggs from World of Goo. It's a really fun one in a level from World 2. And then finally, we're going to show off the sort of free build mode, and I'm going to build a Goo tower as high as I can possibly build it. We'll see when it falls over. So if you want to see that, we've got $75 towards that. All right. Time is not going to start when I click chapter 1. It's going to start when I click the first level in chapter 1. So I'll give you all a countdown. We're going into summer, which is almost the season that it is, so that's appropriate. All right. And 3, 2, 1, go. Goo. Yeah.
Ooh.
So first we have going up here. Also, I totally forgot to let Marxcie introduce herself. Feel free if you'd like.
Hi, I'm Marxcie. I'm here for moral support. Let's hope the Goos cooperate with us today.
Let's hope so, yeah. So as you can see there, this is the main mechanic of the game. There's pipes, and we got to get the Goo balls into the pipes. Why? We'll find out. This game has some really fascinating storytelling and lore to it. That's one reason I'm really drawn to it, is it's really got style, it's really got pizzazz, it's got a lot of stuff going on in it. But yeah, we have to get the Goo balls to the pipes. And of course, the main way we do that is by building structures with aforementioned Goo balls. So that's kind of the restriction, is you want to build as much as possible. But you also can't build too much, because then you're going to lose the Goo balls that you need to put into the pipe. There's a certain goal for every level, like that one was getting 8 in. You know, these levels are early, they're super easy, so we aren't going to be worrying about that too much here, but later we're going to have to deal with a lot of those restrictions. And later we're going to be doing some strats that are not just building. This game has some wild strategies in it, because we can abuse these physics part of physics puzzle game to a very large extent. So again, that's what the Epilogue levels are all about, physics abuse. If you want to see that, please get your donations in and select that incentive, because I want to show it to y'all.
I mean, if we're not abusing physics, is it really a speed run?
Exactly. Exactly. This is one of those rare games where you can have physics abuse, and it's also a point-and-click game. So if you like point-and-click games and you like wild skips and tricks, this is a really good happy medium between those things.
You know, speaking of skips, so this is any percent skips category, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. We should definitely talk about that. Continue.
Yes. What is the skips part of the any percent?
Yes, indeed. So any percent's actually kind of a misleading term in World of Goo, because this game is really user-friendly, and because of that, it lets you skip almost every single level in the game. The only ones that you can't skip are the ones tied to cutscenes, so like that one right there, which introduced World of Goo Corporation, which will be much more important than you currently know to the game's story, but we'll find all that out later. But because the game lets you skip so many levels for free, that's not a very entertaining speed run. So any percent for us really does mean just clearing all the levels in the base game normally. Any percent skips, you take 3 of the skips allotted for every world, and then you skip the total amount of that. There's 3 skips for every world except for the Epilogue, So that's 12 skips all throughout the game, and it's up to you to decide how you want to use it. So we're going to use one of those skips for one of the levels in World 1, and then we're going to use them progressively throughout. I'll sort of point them out here and there. And that's how we can skip the entirety of the epilogue if we'd like to, is we just save 3 of our skips for the epilogue. But yeah, different runners decide to do different things with that, by the way, which is really cool. Oh, almost got a first cycle there. I love getting first cycle. Oh, so sad. As you can see there, this pipe sucked up a bunch of goo balls really quickly. And I was hoping that would get us to 8, but yeah, it's a little shy. Tumblr introduces our green goo balls, which are a little different from the black ones in that we can actually detach them from the structure after we've built them, which is going to be really important for a level coming up soon. But we're not there yet. You also saw in Flying Machine that some of the goo balls can let us fly, and this is going to be really important here in this level. Fisty's Bog. Say hi to Fisty. It's our fun little froggy friend.
Hi, Fisty.
Hi, Fisty. The gimmick of this level is that we have to build out this really, really long bridge all the way to the goo pipe, but we have to use balloon balls to sort of balance it, because there's spikes on the top and bottom, by the way. So, yeah. You'll also notice I'm dragging some goo balls over once the level is finished to be able to finish it. Later on, we're going to unlock a tool that's going to make that part of our lives a lot easier. But right now, how fast you can drag your goo balls to the goo pipe does matter a lot for what you can get. Oh, also, you might have noticed a little OCD popping up in the bottom left corner there. This game has sort of clear conditions, 100% clear conditions for every level, and that's kind of what that means. So if I get one of those, that means I've done what the game considers to be basically a 100% clear. So that's a fun little bonus. If you want to maybe donate $1 for every OCD we get this run, that could be a fun little thing. I'll do that too.
You know, Satan, speaking of 100% clear, I'm happy to announce that we have met the incentive for you to play the epilogue, and that is courtesy of a $30 donation from Sean the Good. Has no comment, but it definitely had an impact. We have that incentive met, so thank you very much for that. Now we can shift our attention to the bonus showcase incentive. That closes off at the very end of the run, and we need $75 for that. So let's get started on that one, folks.
Thank you. I really appreciate closing out that epilogue. Now we don't have to worry. We can see those super cool levels. So that other bonus showcase does close after the end of the run, but we still don't have that much time. As you can see, we're placing goo balls fast and doing things quickly. So definitely want to make sure we get some movement on that. As you can see there, that was what was very important about being able to detach those green goo balls. You can make it so that you can do really interesting clear conditions like that. Here's Impale Sticky, so this is a little bit of a tough move here. We're gonna do this. Wait, okay. No, we're not gonna get it, that's fine. Okay, we're gonna show off the flies here. This is a new mechanic that I haven't really talked about yet. You can click on a fly to sort of go back in time a little bit, which is cool. Normally, we just get the structure to go up like this, in this arcing pattern on the first go, but sometimes the physics doesn't play nice. It happens. Also here you can see I'm throwing a goo ball to try to get another goo ball onto the platform, because the sleeping ones don't wake up until they have a structure near to them. So that's foreshadowing for a strat that will be very important later in some levels. But for now, that's Impale Sticky. Not the most graceful completion of that level ever, but it's all right. Sometimes that's Whirly Goo. Just gotta deal. This is a really cool strat here, Chain. I really love this one because it's very unconventional. You can see there's 2 camps of sleeping goo balls. The game intends you to sort of make a hanging chain to get to both of them. This is the first time in the game, I would say, that we're really gonna cheese the game's intention. We're gonna make a little thing there with our green goo balls. And we're gonna be annoyed because of physics. Nice. And then, because we have an intact structure down here, all these goo balls are gonna wake up. And we can just throw them up here. And that lets them come up on top. And we can finish ourselves out here. Also, you might notice I'm sneaking in an extra goo ball or 2. here and there at the beginning of at the end of levels. That's not required for the speedrun, but it is going to give us extra goo balls to use in that free play mode I was discussing earlier for that incentive. So, you know, we're working towards it the whole time. Make sure I can do it. This is our first skip, Tower of Goo. It's a level where you just have to build really, really high. It takes a while, so I've routed it into the skips. All right, here's Ode to the Bridge Builder. So the game actually intends you to build a giant tower and knock it down in this level, but I'm very stubborn, and I don't appreciate that strategy. For some reason, it doesn't work for me very well. So we're just gonna build the bridge, because I'm really good at bridge building. So I'm leveraging my skill sets. That's one thing you can do as a speedrunner. If you like a different strat, use it. You do not have to use the strat that other people use.
Satan, would you leverage this opportunity to tell us about this bonus showcase incentive that's now open? What exactly does that comprise so people donating know what it is they're going to be getting?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned before, there's sort of a free play mode in this game. And it mostly basically takes all the goo balls that you get throughout the course of the run that are extra, and puts them in a big pool where you can just build whatever you want. So I'll just be trying to build the absolute highest tower that I can with all the extra goo balls that we collect throughout the run at that point in time. So that'll be super fun. I would love to show that off. And then in addition to that, I'll be showing off one of World of Goo's most infamous Easter eggs. And the only one that is not a glitch that is still in version 1.6, which is the version that I'm playing right now. There is one glitch, but it's quite inconsistent, so I'm not able, unfortunately, to show it off on a marathon setting. But yeah, I'll be showing off both of those things for sure. And if the estimate allows, I have another couple of ideas, but we'll have to see what happens once we get there. Might be some surprises.
Well, that all sounds fantastic. And as a reminder, folks, $75 is what we need in order to get that donation incentive. The most recent chat here is the link to donate directly to Prevent-A-Thon, which is benefiting Little Warriors. So if you would like to go ahead for 8 easy donations of $10, you can see that bonus showcase. So go ahead and get your donations in, large or small. They all make a difference, and they'll certainly make a difference as far as what you'll be watching here today if you want to see that showcase.
Yeah, absolutely. And here, Regurgitation Pumping Station. It is what it sounds like. This game is very interesting. It's kind of visceral, I think, in a lot of ways. But yeah, we've traveled our little goo structure up, and then we can place these floating eye things. Still not clear if those are goo balls or not. Up, and that is World 1 complete. So at the end of each world, there is a cutscene here, decently lengthy ones. So, Vonnie, if you'd like to talk to everyone a little bit about what we're doing or anything else, this would be a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk about what we've got going on, because I did mention the how we made a little shift in the schedule here. So right now you're watching Satan herself run World of Goo. Coming up next, we have a mystery race. That sounds interesting. That's going to be NBZ and Toronite doing that. After that, we have Prison City being run by Dan, the VP. That will be followed by a run of Love 3. Being done by Hepanwana, and then after that is that bonus game, The Rift of the Necrodancer, being done by Illegally Sam. And as a reminder on what's going on there, we need to hit $2,196. We're at $1,585 so far, so we need a total of a little more than about $600 between now and then. That is slated to go down in about, let's call it 4 hours. So we've got to get going there to get that bonus, and that's one that you're not going to want to miss. So absolutely get your donations in to check that out. But then of course we've got the World of Goo bonus showcase that I've been talking about here. When you are, a reminder, when you are making your donation, make sure that you are applying your donation to your intended incentive, so that way it gets credited as you would like for it. Just be sure to take a look when you're doing that.
Absolutely. And here we've stumbled into one of the best strategies in the game, in my opinion, which is abusing the mechanics of these balloon balls, these balloon goo balls, and not rotating this thing as the game wants you to do, but instead just pushing it with the balloon balls in the air to make it fly horizontally, which is a really nice little, this is a really nice little explanation of that, or a little showcase of that strategy. We're gonna see that big time in the epilogue levels later, so you do not want to miss how we're gonna abuse that there. This is unfortunately a skip, even though it has a really cool strat. Maybe we'll show it off in the bonus showcase, I don't know. Because it's just a long level. Long levels we just generally skip, even if they're cool or not hard. It does happen. This one's mostly an auto-scroller. You kind of just make a little thing here with these goo balls. It makes a little platform on this wheel, and then we're gonna go ahead and transfer some balloon balls over because at the end of the level we'll need them. There's a little bit of strategy here in positioning your little structure here at the beginning, and in when exactly you want to bring it up to the top here. You can save somewhere between 1 and 4 or 5 seconds or something by playing this level optimally, but not that much. So the question is do you have 30 goo balls on your structure to make it up here? And luckily we had just about 30 there. You know, you kind of get to learn over time by sight how that looks. Nice, that's a 42. That's a really solid freedom scraper. That was actually really good. And then beauty school. So this is where the game's gonna start to get a little funky. We're gonna get introduced to the beauty ball. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, hi. There's gonna be a lot of things happening with the beauty ball. We'll go through that soon. Right now I'm kind of manipulating her physics by using this balloon ball to push her down faster, which of course helps. And then we're gonna grab all of these here. She turns into little tiny beauty pieces, and that's that. This red pipe only takes those little beauty pieces, by the way. That's going to be important for a couple levels coming up here. This is now kind of the main mechanic of World 2, and the main sort of thematic idea as well will be. Also, this is what that was about, I guess. We made a beauty product. Yay. Yay. So this game has a lot of social commentary. It's very big on that. It talks about energy, corporatism, beauty standards, a lot of interesting stuff like that. And we'll see kind of all of that as we go along. Industrialism, things like that.
You're telling me the Freedom Scraper 3000 was political commentary? Surely not.
Yeah, never, right? Yeah, it could never be. All right, there's an OCD for you. Also, when an OCD happens, you'll see a flag pop up on the level. Ooh, the whistle. So the whistle is going to be really, really helpful for us. I'll show you why in a little bit here. But yeah, you'll see a flag pop up out of the level in the actual menu, so we can track that way. All right, Volcanic Percolator Day Spa. This is a really cool level. I can't play it, unfortunately, in this route. There's our opposite of Beauty Ball. Again, social commentary. There's a lot of social commentary in this run. All right, this is the tutorial level for the whistle. So I'm going to go ahead and left click down here. And now, finally, I can lure the goo balls where I want them to go. And that lets me move this platform just ever so slightly. And then we're gonna move it back down this way. Now, this level's really weird because sometimes, yep, that will happen. Sometimes that just happens and there's nothing you can do about it. It just shoots the drill ball off in a random direction for no reason. And unfortunately the goo liquid down here is toxic and kills the goo ball. So that's why I bring an extra one, is to make sure that that doesn't happen. Or that doesn't kill the level. 33, yep, makes sense for how safe we were there. But much better than redoing. All right, Beauty and the Electric Tentacles. So this is gonna be the level that we're gonna use to do that Easter egg later, if we can get that bonus thing met. But we can't play it right now because it's long. It actually doesn't have to be, but the physics exploit in that level to make it short is very, very difficult. And I haven't been able to consistently get it in runs just yet. So that one's not in my route right now, but as I said before, if you see other runners play this game, you might see a different route, which is really cool. It is a very unique category in that sense. I'm gonna bring down some albino goo balls to potentially help with us here. And then this is a really, really cool cheese strat where there's a little opening under here. So let's bring some goo balls here. And then nice little free passageway. And then we can use the physics of the game to just push that over. That is not how you're supposed to do that. Hopefully that wasn't... Hopefully that was obvious. Alright, here, unfortunately, we got our goo ball trapped a little bit. There we go. Get in there. There she goes. And now we're gonna build a tower nice and high. Unfortunately, as it happens, the green ones are sometimes not the most cooperative, because sometimes you can accidentally detach them from the structure when you don't want to. That is a problem we often run into. But here we go, and there we are. As you can see, the whistle helping us a ton with getting those goo balls into the pipe immediately. And you can't pick up those little beauty pieces. You can't pick them up and shuttle them yourself. So that's probably why the game gives you the whistle here, is basically to just give you a more efficient way to move those around. That was an OCD, by the way. So another one. All right, genetic sorting machine. Once again, social commentary. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, this game is wacky, if you hadn't noticed. It is a really, really unique and funky game. Oh, I was really not supposed to do that. Yep, the game says you cannot put that one in that category. So, yep, there we go. But as you can see, there's a little bit of suction going on in these little pipes. So if we just get the goo ball close, then it's gonna go ahead and grab it, which is nice for us. But yeah, we have to do those three first, because the pieces of those are gonna make a bridge for our final one to be able to go. Nice, that was good. To be able to go to the end here. Fortunately, we got a real big bounce there. There's a little RNG in how this red goo ball moves. If she stays close to the green ones, it's faster because she continues faster. But, you know, you don't have a whole lot of control over that, unfortunately. The balloon balls are really how you can manipulate the big balls. It's much easier to manipulate one of those big balls with a balloon ball instead of the other ones. It can be done though. All right, and then we just attach a couple of these up here. Who is this mysterious giant lady? I wonder. I think we might find out in just a second. So this is a long cutscene, so happy to have donations read here if you've got any, or if you want to read anything else. But real quick, I just want to point out that this is saying that the giant lady thing was a living electric generator, and that beauty is a highly reactive liquid chemical, like gasoline or turpentine. So that's kind of part of the lore of this game, is that the beauty balls they're actually potent little balls of energy. And that's going to help power the whole world. Conventional beauty standards. Anyway, anything you got for us, buddy?
Well, certainly, I would like to remind the folks here that you are watching Prevent-A-Thon 5, a speedrunning marathon in support of Little Warriors, which is a Canadian-based charity focused on the awareness, prevention, and treatment of child sexual abuse. Now, as a Canada-based charity, the donations that you're making are going to be processed in Canadian dollars. So if you live in a different country, your donations will automatically be converted for you. If you want to see a rate of exchange on that, you can use the rate command in chat to get some info on that. Speaking of donations, we actually have a new bid war that has opened up. It's for the Love 3 run that's going to be coming up in a little bit there. And the bid war is for which character trail you would like to see. And there your choices are bi, LGBTQ, non-binary, pan, and trans. So if any of those catch your fancy, you want to see a particular trail for that game, you can donate toward that. Also do want to remind folks that we do still have this bonus showcase for this current World of Goo run that needs to be met. We need $75 there. We're about halfway through this run, so
yeah, we do not have that much more time, especially not with levels like Burning Man happening. As you can see there, the level wanted me to build a huge structure out to that fire. We said no. We threw a goo ball, put it on fire by pushing it off the back wall, and put it onto the rest. That's an OCD, and there goes Burning Man. One of the coolest levels
So-
in the game. So awesome. Yeah, please
So
donate
let's-
to
so
see
let's
more
do
cool
this.
stuff.
Let's set my donation tracker on fire with your donation, so I can
love
read a
it.
bunch here, raise money for Little Warriors, and get that incentive met for this really awesome bonus showcase that Satan has queued up for us.
Yeah, fantastic. And if you want something to put in your donations, I have an idea. I play a lot of games from the late 2000s. It's a very nostalgic era for me. This is one of them. It's a 2008 game here. If you would like to tell me your favorite late 2000s, mid 2000s game, I would love to hear about those. Just got that secondhand smoke. The challenge of that level, of course, is to build an equidistant burning thing around this thing so it lands on the hand. That was one of the riskier ones I've done in a while, but it worked. It's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, the Z product is coming soon. World of Goo Corp has a new product. What do we think the Z product is? Bunny, Marxcie, any ideas?
I think it's gonna be a one-stop solution to everything with how things are going here.
Okay. The ultimate answer to life itself, the Z product.
Oh yes, it'll all be in this product. Oh,
I'll be in it.
Fisty, no!
It's yep, it's Misty's Long Bony Road. I know things have happened to Fisty. I'm sorry, Fisty. But luckily we get introduced to these bone balls here, which are really fun to use. They don't get bothered by spikes. Spikes got nothing on the bone balls. So we can go ahead and use them to make a cool little trail across here. But you might notice, oh no, we have quite a while to go, and not very many bone balls to do it with. Well, that's why they're detachable. You can go ahead and stretch those four pretty far to be able to suit your needs. So yeah, I usually detach the third one and then the first one. That's the most stable way to do this level. Oh. The game was not letting me select the bone ball in time there, so I had to use a backwards fly, but that's okay. Is what it is. We do time this in RTA, by the way, so even if something doesn't affect the in-game timer, it will affect our final time. There's Misty's Long Bony Road. Good fun. Bonnie, do you have any guesses as to what the Z product is?
You know, I'm thinking it's probably more corporate commentary, but as much as you might be interested in my answer, I'm much more interested in reading this donation that came in
please do.
here.
Yes, while we do our speedrun level Super Fuse challenge time, it's very self-explanatory. Do the thing before the fuse.
Yes.
We're not going to care all about that. Continue.
Very good. We have a $100 donation that just came in here. This one is from Turtle Run 2412, and it says, Crypt of the Necrodancer has one of the best game soundtracks of all time. It would be a crime if we didn't meet the incentive for the sequel to be a bonus game. Please, chat. So, first of all, Turtle Run, thank you very, very much for that very generous donation. And now we got some updates for you here. The first is that that bonus showcase for World of Goo, just slam the door on that. That one's been met, so you're going to be doing the bonus showcase
Amazing.
there.
Wonderful.
Couple other things here. Looks like we've got some movement here on these Love 3 character trail bid wars here. Right now, LGBTQ is in lead with $15. Non-binary has $10. And then the other three options, which are bi, pan, and trans, currently have no dollars towards them. So if you'd like to apply something to that, you can as well. With us being at $1,685 total for Prevent-A-Thon 5, we are now 84% of the way there to get to that Rift of the Necrodancer bonus game.
Woo, let's keep going.
We are just a little over $300
I'm sorry to cut you off, Bonnie.
away.
This is the coolest level in the game, pretty much.
Okay, then by all means, go ahead.
Apologies. We skipped a
Thank you
bunch.
for the donation.
Now we're gonna explode the head by not caring about the game's idea of us building a big old thing to this explosive. We just throw some balls against the wall. Done. I just love this level. So good. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say we have 315 more total dollars that we need in order to get that Rift of the Necrodancer game unlocked. So Get your donations in now, get your donations in later, get your donations in consistently, and let's continue to raise money for Little Warriors.
Thank you so much for meeting that incentive, by the way. Super generous, Turtle Rom. Thank you so much. And Sean as well. Y'all are fantastic. I would love to see the donations keep coming in. Thank you for making our World of Goo run even more goo. So here we've got Incineration Destination. I love the titles of the levels in this game. I will never call them like their level order. I'm only going to ever call them their titles because I think they just have such cute and fantastic titles in this one. Just like the whole game, it's a fantastic title. Haha. Anyways, enough with my bad jokes, and more of setting things on fire. Let's go ahead and use this bomb, which we saw in the last level, but now we can go ahead and move it to make sure that we get this part open. And then we're gonna try a glitch here. Let's see if we can do it.
Ooh.
There we go. So if you throw the goo ball hard enough at a small wall, sometimes it'll just go through it. There we go. And so I don't have to blow up this thing, which would have been a little bit slower than doing that. First try, it's a lot faster. But like fifth try, still saves time. So pretty good stuff. OCD on that level as well, if you're keeping track. And then here is the final level of the third world, and it is called Product Launcher. We're gonna find out what the Z product is. Hooray, with this product launcher. It's not a euphemism. You'll find out what I mean by that in a second.
Wait, do you mean it actually like physically like launches as in propels the product itself?
You'll see. I might mean that. This game's funny. It's got jokes. It's got jokes. But yep, here's a big ol' Z. We're gonna go ahead and set it on fire. I did build a little bit biased towards this side because it is a bit faster for the fire to come down and alight the Z. And yep, it's time for us to see the product launcher. Here it is. Yep, there we go. Big hand for the product launcher. And it's gonna go ahead and do its thing here. We're gonna find out what the Z product is very, very shortly. Let's see if Marcy's guess is correct. Bonnie, do you have any last second guesses? What's gonna happen?
It's going to be essentially like it's going to spray beautification all over the citizens of this land.
I could see that. Yes.
Can I change my answer to it's democracy?
That's
democracy?
what
What we're product.
I see.
Stealing.
Shot out of a gun?
Yeah, we're sending democracy to the rest of the world.
So true. Okay, well, here's a clue. It's a big old green thing shot into the sky. The person says, "What is it?" Wondering the same thing as all of us. But uh-oh, it's falling. Oh no. What's gonna happen? Oh. Well, the Z product has added none other than a Z axis to the World of Goo. Congratulations. World of Goo is now 3D.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the third dimension. Your friend. World of Goo Corporation. Thank you, World of Goo Corporation. You're awesome. Warning, you appear to be incompatible with the world. Darn it. We're not updated enough to be part of World of Goo 3D. So we have to go contact tech support in the information superhighway. So this is where you remember that this game is really quite a 2008 title. If the beauty standards thing didn't clue you in. This is what the internet looks like. It's green.
I miss the green web.
Yep, the green internet. Don't we all miss the days when the internet was green? And this was what 3D also looks like. Yeah. Here we're gonna go ahead and... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember the days of learning how to type on the Apple IIe computers in our computer lab at my elementary school, where it was green text on a black screen, and that was it. And everything else, you just kind of had to use your imagination. So this is kind of taking me way back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's very much doing that at the time, you know, what people thought that the internet was kind of gonna do to the world. Techify it into a place that was, you know, unrecognizable. There's bits everywhere. It's awesome. we've been introduced to a new type of goo ball, this nice little ball type one here, that can be flung in a certain direction, and the speed can be controlled by sort of how far you move this little cursor out. So it's a very interesting goo ball type. We're going to use it in a couple levels here. Kind of the main mechanic of World 4, although it's going to introduce a few more that are interesting too. I'm going to bring a couple more than I need over here because, as you can see, these wheels here can be very destructive if we miss. And here we're going to use our square goo balls, which build like normal, to build a nice little thing out. And then there we go. That's that. I think bulletin board system is the name of this level. Yeah. The level also there included wind, which we'll see later in one of the epilogue levels, which kind of pushes the goo balls around in a particular way. This next level that we're going to play really emphasizes that wind, but first we're going to skip Great by Virus. This is the worst level in the game by far for speedrunners. It is very inconsistent and very, very hard. Really fun to play casually, but not a good speedrun level. Here's graphic processing unit. We're gonna have to make use of a little gravity mechanic here. I think it's done in the same way as wind, honestly, but you know, I don't know. I didn't program this game. So the goo balls are gonna come wake these guys up. And then what are these red goo balls doing? Well, they actually are interesting. They kind of stick to each other. So as you can see here, they're making a little trail. And we kind of just have to hope, honestly, and do our best to make that trail down there. It's a little RNG dependent, so I'm glad the game gave it to us first try. Thank you, game. There we go. That's GPU. Anyways, how are we feeling about World of Goo?
I have an idea of what the sequel is like, and this is one of the games of all time. It is lovely. It
really is. And here's roadblocks. So the game is going to expect us to do something very different than what we're going to do. It's going to expect us to make a nice little support block of blocks, and honestly, a lot of people do that. I don't, because I've come up with a pretty consistent way to actually build this bridge, which is not what the game expects you to do. As I said before, I like to build bridges. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out to the point that we're going to be able to make that connection. And then we're going to build out a little further to the point that this one will work. This is a very precise strat. Takes quite a bit of practice to get good at. And I also did come up with it, so that's probably why most people don't do it.
Oh yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, these wheels here make it very hard to build a traditional bridge, and there's also just not a lot of goo balls to build with. So that is the way I have found to be able to do that. That's an OCD on sub 40 level. Very good word blocks. This is a super fun one. Graceful Failure has one of the best speedrun solutions in this game. You can see it's going to show us this big tower. It wants us to move these little goo blocks away. To be able to Jenga this little thing down here. We're not going to do that. We're instead going to take this block here and then slam it right there. And that just brings our goo balls down. And we win. There we go. That's Graceful Failure. One of the fastest levels in the game. Just a super fun speedrun strat. Knock it down, get it out of there. OCD. And then we're gonna go ahead and skip Alice and Bob in the third party because it is just way too long. Fun little programming thing though. You can tell that the designers of this game really enjoyed programming it. They put in a lot of programming jokes and references in World 4 here, but unfortunately I'm not gonna play the little chat room level here. Also remember chat rooms? Good old days. All right, server farm. This is one of the hardest levels in the game, so I'm gonna take a little second to focus here. So if y'all want to talk about anything y'all want to talk about, host or comms, feel free.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to read a donation here if I could. I've got a $5 donation from Cell that says, I don't know a lot of mid-2000s games, but you know what game I do love? Rift of the Necrodancer. The music is so good, and I really, really want us to reach that milestone to unlock it. Well, thank you very much for that donation, and I'll go ahead and give you an update since you asked. We have the $1,690 out of the $2,000 we need there. We're 85% of the way there. We're getting very, very close. So that is, we're on a good pace, but if you need a little more incentive, see what I did there, to get your donations in here, I've got a new one that's opened up here, and it's for Prison City, which is a game after next. And that is to ride the dolphin. If you would like to see somebody ride a dolphin in that game, which sounds really awesome, we need $75 in order to get that met. Now, one thing I want to talk about is something I mentioned before, this Love 3 character trail bid war. Right now, you've got LGBTQ with 15, non-binary with 10, bi, pan, and trans each have 0. Now, this community here with Prevent-A-Thon and whatnot is very much LGBTQ friendly. It's definitely a good space for folks like that. Here's what I want you to do. You got 5 choices here. Again, they're LGBTQ, non-binary, bi, pan, and trans. Donate $5 towards the one that you identify with the most, and just kind of help to represent your slice of the LGBT community, help raise money for Little Warriors, and get some representation there. So that's my my ask of you, chat. $5 towards which of those categories you most closely identify with. Let's see if we can do that.
Awesome. I love that donation incentive directive, all that. That's really wonderful. Here we're talking to Mom. Mom is the program who is running kind of everything. She's in beta though. She's kind of a search engine. She's kind of a spam bot. She's kind of everything. We're talking to her and trying to convince her to make us compatible with the world, but she's not doing that. She's refusing to, but what we do find out about her in the process of talking to her is that she sends a lot of spam emails, and that a lot of people don't read them. They send them into the big recycle box in the southeast, which is where we are right now. So we come up with a plan on the spot. We say, Mom, do you want us to help you get your deals to millions and millions of users? And she says, yes, I would love some help with that. So we kind of think if we release every single spam email that has ever been deleted, we can destroy World of Goo Corporation and make the world habitable for us again. So that's what we're doing right now. We're gonna go ahead and put this undelete button into the recycle bin. That was a really good deliverance, by the way. And then take a look at this. All of the emails, the spam emails, everything that's ever been deleted that Mom has sent, all the spam emails are now going to be released back unto the world. This game's funny. So what do we think this is gonna do? Is our plan gonna work? I hope so.
I'm kind of tired of the Z-axis. I'd like to go back to 2 planes.
Yeah, this is why I think we play as 2D boy, by the way.
Oh.
New male. Yep, it sure did. That's a lot of spam emails. We have destroyed a large corporation. World of Goo Corp is destroyed. I love this game.
BG's.
Yeah, and then I've got to say the thing I always say during marathon runs, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign, isn't it? There we go, that's how chapter 4 ends. And since y'all donated for that Epilogue incentive, we're going to be able to play these levels now. Hooray! Normally we would skip all 3 of them, but we're gonna play them. Let's start with Infesty the Worm. So this one gives you this really long structure and expects you to take it all the way to the end using the balloon balls. We're gonna change it to suit our needs a little bit. First, we're going to lift up this side and push the structure over using our balloon balls in a similar way to what we did earlier. I'm gonna occasionally lift it up a little further because it's gonna make it easier to push off.
There we go.
And then we can leave 3 on. Oh. There we go. And then I'm using the whistle to sort of bring some of those goo balls higher. And then here it comes back at a nice manageable state. And now we can use the goo balls to push it along like we did in that earlier level. Sometimes they'll attach. That's life. You just sort of deal. We don't need that part of the structure to be there. Unfortunately, between 2 and 3 is kind of the right amount of lift for this thing to stay in the right spot in the air. So we have to kind of just occasionally cycle through the amount of goo balls that are attached. Luckily, we have all of the ones that we need on, though, so we don't need to visit these little platforms that you're seeing to get more goo balls, which is nice. It's a nice little time save from how we set it up. We don't have to bother with that.
Satan, I've got a donation here I'd like to read if I
Oh,
could.
yes, please. Go ahead.
Very good. It is a $50 donation from Trainer Anade that says, it's Pride Month, so I'm donating in honor of my wife, who absolutely loves Rift of the Necrodancer, too. I'm noticing a theme here with these donations. And they go on to say, also, did you know that you can split your donation up to go to different incentives, including multiple choices in the same bid war? Now you do. Winky face. And with that, I should give us an update on what's going on with this Love 3 character trail bid war. Now every single category here has gotten some love. Trans is now in the lead with $20, non-binary has 19, LGBTQ has 15, pan has 11, and bi has 10. So every single category here now has some money toward it, but we want to get more money applied to it. Again, like I said, whichever one is one that you identify with the most. If you want to donate $5, $10, whatever you'd like to do to put towards that, to see the one that is your closest identity get represented in that Love 3 run, use the donate command in chat and be sure to apply it towards the incentive of your choice.
Fantastic. Yeah, definitely do that. And here we've got our penultimate level in this one. You can play the this one and the next one in any order you want. I've just chosen to play Weathervane first. Here, this one expects you to build a really long little trail and sort of curve it over the weather vane here. Right now, though, we're gonna kind of do that. The speed strat, the optimal speed strat in this level is to kind of make it so that it makes a little structure here. Let's see what we've done here. Will it work? Sort of. I'm gonna try to make this happen. I think we can.
I think you got enough.
I can definitely bring over more. It's more the question of just making sure it gets to the pipe and doesn't fall down. There we go.
Yeah.
And then we can just bring one over. Yay. All right, we had enough. Fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah, the optimal speed strat is to make our own little floating vehicle there, which is fun. And there we go. That's Weathervane. And then the final level in the game that I'm going to show off is Horizontal Transportation Innovation Committee. Absolutely bonkers speed strat here. Take a look at this. So first, we're gonna look at this and go, the game wants us to build a big old bridge, but it does a sneaky little thing here. It doesn't look like it, but there's actually a sort of pivot point right here. So we're gonna be able to take advantage of that. Build out our structure here, and then use this balloon ball. Oh, it's cursed. Nice. Sometimes the level is cursed. That'll just happen sometimes with how you set it up. Sometimes it just decides that you're not going to get the right physics exploit, and that's fine. We'll just restart it. There we go. And as you can see there, we heavily sort of cheesed that by using the gears that are supposed to bring about our doom. By making a little line here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to occasionally put it down to be able to not have it exit the screen. You can go too high in this game. But I'm going to use the balls to push it just a little bit, but not actually build on top of it. And not fling a ball off like that. I'm also gonna hope we have 8. It's possible we don't. So what I'm gonna do for that is gonna do something really precise here. No, no, keep missing. That's okay. By doing this, and then now I know I'll have enough. That's fine. We'll have enough. There we go. That speed shot is wild, isn't it? It's incredible. You make a little line and then you push it manually the whole way. It's so cool. It's a great way to cap off, I think, the epilogue levels. I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was what you donated for. I love that strat. I love those 3 levels. They're all really fun. And then finally, here's the final level in the game. This one's a breather. It's really nothing special at all. We just put some pufferfish goo balls, question mark? Still don't know what's up with these guys. On top of this island to get it to float up to the sky. You know, as you do. Time is going to come when my cursor disappears. So that's this little thing. It's gonna happen in about 20 seconds here. It takes about 20 seconds-ish for that to happen. So get ready on time pretty soon. I'll tell you when it actually happens. Time. That's GG.
GG.
And yeah, that is World of Goo. So unfortunately, to get back into the game, we're actually going to have to wait through both this ending cutscene and the credits. So I'm going to go ahead and do my shoutouts now while that's happening, and then we're going to get to that extra showcase after all this happens. The Goo Balls are going to go reminisce about their adventures and also look towards the sky for new possible adventures, which happened how many years later? 16 years later in World of Goo 2? Incredible that this game has a sequel. It does. Go play it. It's really cool and good as well. It just came out on Steam just like a couple weeks ago. So it's really accessible now. So yeah, it's a great time. And I've been Satan, or Satan Isn't Herself on Twitch. I sometimes stream World of Goo. I love this game. It's a great speedrun. I am more inclined to stream Peggle and Plants vs. Zombies. Those are my main speed games. I'm going to be playing Plants vs. Zombies at SGDQ this year. So if you want to see that, definitely tune into that. I also had a run in Prevent-A-Thon earlier, Peggle Extreme EGM, if you'd like to watch that. Go check out those VODs. Check out all of Prevent-A-Thon. This is an absolutely fantastic and wonderful event. I'm always so happy to be able to be a part of it and to be representing these incredible games at it. Thank you so much for letting me run, not only once, but twice during PAT5. It's such a special honor and experience. And yeah, I just have a great time with World of Goo. Marxcie, do you want to give any shoutouts?
I agree with going and checking out Satan's channel. She is wonderful. Otherwise, I'm just happy to be here.
That's awesome. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you for accepting my little invitation to be part of this fun and funky run, which is not over. Once again, we have a little showcase coming up, but we've still got some time. Unfortunately, the credits take a hot minute. So, Vonnie, this is a really good time for you to say whatever you'd like to say if you'd like.
Well, I'd like to say that I have a donation that came in. It's a $15 donation. It is from E, and it doesn't have a comment, but thank you for that. But with that, that gets us to now $1,755 for the marathon, which means we are less than $250 away from unlocking that Rift of the Necro Dancer bonus run. That is going to be going down. It's scheduled to go down in like just a little over 3 hours. So we still got some time left for that. If you would like to make a donation to help get that along and you want to apply it to a specific incentive, don't forget we've got that Ride the Dolphin incentive for Prison City. That's going to be coming up run after next. My understanding of that particular donation is that it's kind of like how you could ride the Dolphin in Wave Race 64, but thankfully the unlock process for this Dolphin ride is a lot simpler. All you got to do is donate. We need $75 for that. So let's get going on that. Update on that Character Trail Bid War for the Love 3 run. Trans in the lead with 20, non-binary has 19, LGBTQ has 15, pan has 11, and bi has 10. So if you would like to donate for one of those in particular, like I said, we want to get a $5 train for the one that you identify with the most. I think that would be a lot of fun, and I think that will just help us to close that gap on getting that Rift of the Necrodancer run going, which, if you've listened to the donation comments that have been coming in all throughout this run, you see there are a lot of fans of that game, so we wouldn't want to let them down, would we?
No, we definitely don't, and we don't want to let down World of Goo fans, so let's go ahead and start that bonus incentive. So, we can get 5 minutes on the clock here, and we're going to be starting with Beauty and the Electric Tentacle, which is going to be how we're going to do our Easter egg. So I will go ahead and count us down. We'll start the clock in 3, 2, 1. So we skipped this level. Unfortunately, we're going to keep not completing it as intended. We're actually going to do something different. So the game gives us even a helpful little arrow. It says you should bring this beauty ball all the way over to that side. We say, actually, no, let's go ahead and bring it to the other side. How about that? What's this going to do? You're going to find out. This is the last sort of intended Easter egg that is still intact in the 1.6 console versions. There are some iOS Easter eggs that fortunately we're not experiencing because I don't want to be playing this on iOS for this marathon. But if you do play this game on iOS, you might see another Easter egg or two. Super Meat Boy features in this game as one of those Easter eggs, and then there's another one later. So we're gonna send our beauty ball down here, and we're gonna find the secret wall paintings that happened here. And we actually get to talk a little bit about the sign painter, who is the only other quote-unquote character in this game besides you that seems to be aware of kind of the fact that this is a game, ? It's so simple. The original sign painter. So this is a really interesting little lore Easter egg. The sign painter has been painting signs in every single one of our levels, but now this is hinting that there was an original one way back when who made the first signs and who maybe worked out the first Goo Balls physics. So it's a cute little time. That's the Easter egg there. And then we're gonna go ahead and go let's go over here and go to the Tower of Goo Memorial Park and Recreation Center. So this is the place where all your extra Goo Balls go. We've got quite a few here, so let's go ahead and build a super tall tower. You can't stop progress.
Stop progress.
Yep, I love this game.
Jeez Louise.
I know, isn't it funny? So we're just gonna build a tower pretty much as high as we can go. As you can see, it has a little height meter on the top right corner. And chat, maybe give a guess in the comments or in the chat of how high we're going to be able to go. How many meters are we going to be able to build with this tower? Would love to see your guesses. As you can see here, I'm kind of widening the base as we go. It's sort of the way to get a more structurally stable tower, of course, is to do such things. I also did switch profiles because for whatever reason it didn't give us very many extras after the first game. I think that happens when you play the epilogue. I kind of forgot about that, but that's fine. I think it resets the amount of Goo Balls you have because you've finished World 4. Yeah, don't know.
Well, I tell you what, Satan, while you are busy diligently building your tower here, want to remind folks of what we've got coming up a little bit later here in Prevent-A-Thon 5. Right now you're watching Satan herself wrap up this bonus showcase here for World of Goo. After this is going to be Mystery Race, which is going to be done by NBZ and Toronite. After that is going to be Prison City, being done by Dan the VP. Then Heppenwana is going to do a run of Love 3, and then after that is the slot we have for the bonus game, which of course is Rift of the Necrodancer. Something I didn't mention before, but as you can tell, I am hosting this run here. I'm just going to be hosting for this one right now, but if Rift of the Necrodancer gets met, then I will be coming back to host that run. So maybe if that's a little incentive for you, if you want to hear more of my lovely hosting, that would be some incentive to get you to donate here to get that Rift of the Necrodancer unlocked. I would be thrilled to come back and do hosting for that game, not just because I love to do hosting and I love to help support and help folks raise money for a great cause, but because, I mean, it's a bonus game, folks. We love bonus games, don't we? So donate command in chat, get your donations in, and hopefully you'll be hearing from me again in a few hours.
I would love to do that. Vonnie is an absolute treasure, as y'all have already heard on the mic, of course, but you want to hear him again, right? I mean, I don't know who wouldn't. So that is, I think, a wonderful incentive as well.
You are too sweet, Satan. Thank you.
No, I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. It's true. It tastes so good, by the way. Just FYI. Unfortunately, our tower is starting to collapse just a little bit here. I don't know if we're gonna be able to save it, chat. Let's see what we can do. We're getting a little, yeah, there we go. So we were 18.1 meters high at peak, I think, a little bit higher. So if you got close to that, congratulations. That's the whole end thing here. You can go even higher, of course, but that would require quite a bit of time and patience. And we're speed building here, so that's what we did. Yeah, that's World of Goo. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun running it for you and showing off those little extra bonus things that the game has to offer. You can also throw around the goo balls in the menu here. Just another quick Easter egg. And then yeah, that'll be that. 20% more infinite in all directions. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, Satan, thank you very, very much for that wonderful run of World of Goo and all of the bonus showcases and everything like that you did. Then thank you very much to everyone in chat for making the donations to make all of that happen. That is very much appreciated. Like I said, we are going to be getting ready for our next run here shortly, which is going to be NBZ and Toro Knight doing a race of Mystery Race, and that is going to be a lot of fun. But while that is going on, we are going to step away for a few minutes, get things set up. We got some messages for you here, and I'm going to be signing off, hopefully just temporarily, hopefully just for a few hours, and then I should be back with your help for the bonus Rift of the Necrodancer game. As a reminder, we're at $1,755. We need to be at a grand total of $2,000 in order to get that unlocked. So you got a few hours to do that, but get your donations in, and to apply them to the incentives that you want, and we can get that game unlocked. So yes, but again, thank you, Satan, very much for being here with us and showing us this awesome game.